Have you ever watched everything you built turn to ashes in a single night? That's the question Zara Mensah is asking herself as she stands in the center of her collapsing empire. The server room reeks of burning copper. 20 screens flicker and die one by one. Outside, Akra's rain hammers the glass walls of Zaratech's headquarters. Inside, her employees are screaming into phones, crying at their desks, running toward exits that won't save them. She's 31 years old, built this from nothing. The queen of African fintech, they called her. Called. Past tense. Police lights strobe through the rain. An officer shouts about money laundering investigations. Zara barely hears him. Her eyes are locked on the center screen, where a final message pulses in blood-red text. This is for your father. Then everything goes black. The room falls silent except for the rain. Zara's reflection stares back from the dead screen. Hair wild, mascara streaked, but her eyes, dry as stone. Her CFO, Ama Bediako, grabs her arm. Zara, we need to leave, now. But Zara doesn't move. She's staring at something Ama can't see yet. A tiny symbol burned into the corner of the screen before it died. A tattoo mark, black ink, tiger stripes coiled into a circle. Whoever did this wanted me to know, Zara thinks. They left their signature on purpose. Her voice comes out steady, cold. Find out who uses that mark. Zara, find them. She turns to Ama, and her best friend flinches at what she sees in those eyes. Because I'm going to destroy them the way they destroyed me. The police are coming up the stairs now. Zara walks past them into the rain, barefoot, her heels abandoned somewhere in the chaos. Thunder rolls across the city. In 48 hours, she'll board a plane to Seoul. In 72 hours, she'll discover the man who ruined her empire is the same man who shattered her heart 6 years ago. But tonight, standing in the wreckage of everything her father built, everything she expanded, Zara Mensah makes a promise to the storm: justice, no matter the cost. Ama works for 36 hours straight. She rebuilds fragments of the malware from backup servers hidden in 3 countries, traces digital fingerprints through encrypted layers, calls in favors from hackers in Lagos, coders in Nairobi, security experts who owe her their careers. The answer comes back the same every time: Seoul, underground, untouchable. It's a network that operates outside the law, Ama says, sliding a folder across Zara's desk. They're in a safe house now, Zaratech's building sealed by investigators. They call themselves Black Tiger Road. Financial crimes, money laundering, corporate warfare. They don't just break laws, Zara. They write their own. Zara opens the folder. Photos of men in expensive suits. Tattoos visible on wrists, necks, the same tiger mark over and over. She studies each face, memorizing features. These men destroyed 200 lives, shattered families, erased a decade of her work, and somewhere among them is the person who gave the order. They destroyed my company because of my father. Zara's voice is flat. Your father testified against an illegal investment scheme 15 years ago. 3 men went to prison. Ama points to a notation. 2 of them had ties to Seoul syndicates. This is revenge, delayed but calculated. Zara stares at her father's photo on the desk. Emmanuel Mensah, smiling in his graduation robes from Oxford. He taught her that power must serve purpose. That money should build communities, not exploit them. She remembers the last conversation they had before the cancer took him. He was weak, barely able to sit up, but his eyes were still sharp, still kind. "Zara, my girl," he'd said, his voice thin as paper. "I've made enemies in my life, men who chose profit over people. I don't regret standing against them, but I worry they might come for you someday. If they do, remember, justice and revenge are not the same thing. One heals, the other just spreads the wound." She'd promised him she understood. She wonders now if she lied. He died believing she'd carry that forward. And now his enemies had gutted everything she built in his name. "Don't go to Seoul," Amma says quietly. "These people don't negotiate. They eliminate threats." Zara closes the folder, pulls out her phone, books a one-way ticket. "Then they should have eliminated me when they had the chance. Zara, they wanted war." Zara stands, slipping the folder into her bag. Now they have one. Her father's voice echoes in her memory. "Zara, my girl, the world will test you, but never let them turn you into what you fight against." She wonders if he'd still recognize her now. Seoul feels like another planet. Neon signs bleed color into rain-slicked streets. Everything moves faster here: cars, people, money. Zara's contact works in tech security for one of South Korea's largest banks. He agrees to meet her at a rooftop party in Gangnam, where the wealthy come to be seen and the dangerous come to hunt. She wears black, no jewelry, hair pulled into a knot that shows the elegant line of her neck. The party hums with 100 conversations in Korean, English, Mandarin. Champagne flows. Laughter echoes too loud, too bright. These people live in a different world than the one she left burning in Accra. Her contact is late. Zara steps away from the crowd to check her phone. The terrace overlooks the Han River, lights dancing on dark water. The wind carries the scent of night-blooming flowers and expensive cologne. "Zara," the voice stops her heart. She knows it before she turns, knows the cadence, the slight rasp, the way her name sounds in his mouth, like a prayer and a wound all at once. No, not possible. She turns anyway. Ryu Jaewon stands 3 feet away, champagne glass forgotten in his hand. He looks older, sharper. The boyish softness she remembers is gone, replaced by something harder. His suit is tailored perfectly. His hair is shorter, but his eyes still look at her like she's the only real thing in a world of ghosts. "You." Her voice cracks. She hates herself for it. "You're supposed to be dead." 6 years ago, he disappeared. No explanation, no goodbye. She searched for months, filed reports, hired investigators. Every trail went cold. Eventually, she stopped looking, learned to live with the hole he left behind. Except she never really learned. She just got better at pretending, better at throwing herself into work, until exhaustion made her too tired to remember how his laugh sounded, how his hand felt in hers, how safe she felt when he held her during thunderstorms, because he knew she was secretly afraid of lightning. And now he's here, in Seoul, at this party, staring at her like he's seen a ghost, too. For a moment, neither of them moves. The party continues around them. Laughter, clinking glasses, conversations in languages she doesn't understand. But it's all background noise. All she can see is him. All she can feel is 6 years of grief and rage and love that never quite died colliding in her chest. Jaewon takes a step closer. His jaw is tight. When he speaks, his voice is low enough that only she can hear. "You need to leave Seoul, tonight." Not "I missed you," not "I'm sorry," not "let me explain." Just a warning. Something cold slides down Zara's spine. Why? He glances past her at the party, at faces she doesn't recognize. When he looks back, there's something dark in his eyes, something that looks like fear. Because now I can't protect you. Before she can respond, her phone buzzes, her contact. Can't meet. Dangerous. Leave Seoul. Zara looks up. Jaewon is already walking away, disappearing into the crowd. She stands on the terrace, wind pulling at her dress, and realizes three things at once. 1. Ryu Jaewon is somehow connected to the Black Tiger Road. 2. He knows why she's here. 3. The man she once loved is now standing between her and the revenge she came to claim. And she'll have to go through him to get it. If you're feeling the tension, hit that subscribe button. This story is just beginning. What would you do if the person you loved turned out to be your greatest enemy? The tea house sits in a quiet neighborhood, far from Gangnam's neon glare. Traditional paper screens, wooden floors, the soft sound of water trickling over stone outside. Jaewon chose this place, sent Zara the address through a burner number she doesn't question. She arrives wearing a wire under her blouse. Amma's insurance policy. Jaewon is already there, sitting cross-legged on a cushion, pouring tea with hands that don't shake. He's removed his jacket. His shirt is crisp white. On his wrist, barely visible, when his sleeve shifts, she sees it, the black tiger tattoo. Her breath catches. He notices, says nothing. Zara sits across from him. The table between them feels like an ocean. She studies his face in the soft light, the new lines around his eyes, the slight scar on his left cheekbone that wasn't there before, the way his jaw is harder now, as if he's spent 6 years clenching it against things he couldn't say. "Why did you invite me here?" she asks. "To warn you." He slides a cup of tea toward her. Jasmine, her favorite. He remembers. "You're asking questions about people who don't tolerate curiosity. They silence it." The tea smells like London, like the tiny shop near campus where they'd study together. Her feet tucked under his legs for warmth, their future stretching ahead of them like an endless summer. She doesn't touch the cup. "And you know this how?" His eyes meet hers. "Because I lead them." The room seems to tilt. Zara's hand finds the edge of the table, steadying herself. "You run Black Tiger Road." "Yes." The words land like a blade. Zara can't breathe, can't think. The boy who took her to midnight movies in London, who kissed her in the rain outside the British Library, who promised her forever. "You're a criminal," she whispers. "Yes." His voice doesn't waver. And if you dig any deeper into what happened to Zaratek, you'll find things that will force you to make choices you can't unmake. "What are you hiding?" Jaewon sets down his teacup. Slowly, carefully. When he speaks, his voice is so quiet, she has to lean forward. "Walk away, please. Go back to Accra. Rebuild somewhere else. Forget this revenge." "Why?" Her hands are shaking now. "Why do you care?" "Because..." He stops, looks away. The muscle in his jaw jumps. "Because 6 years ago, I left to keep you safe. And if you stay here now, everything I sacrificed means nothing." The confession hangs between them. Zara's heart is breaking and raging all at once. "You left me. You disappeared. I thought you were dead. I needed you to believe that. Why?" "My family." He stops again, closes his eyes. "My mother discovered I was in love with you. She said you'd be used against me, so I left, cut all ties, made you hate me so you'd move on. And now? Now you've walked straight into her world. He looks at her, and she sees it. The boy she loved is still in there, drowning. And I don't know how to save you this time. The rational part of Zara's brain is screaming warnings. The emotional part is remembering how his hand felt in hers. Did you destroy my company? She asks. The question hangs in the air. Jaewon's face is stone. Answer me, she demands. If I say yes, he breathes, what will you do? Hunt you. They stare at each other across the table, 6 years of longing and loss and fury burning in the space between them. Then Jaewon stands, moves around the table, kneels in front of her. Then hunt me, he whispers, but leave Seoul alive. Zara's hand moves to her purse, where a knife waits, but she doesn't reach for it. Instead, she kisses him. It's not gentle. It's desperate and angry and drowning. He kisses her back like she's oxygen, and he's been underwater for 6 years. His hands frame her face. Her fingers twist in his shirt. When they break apart, both are breathing hard. This changes nothing, she whispers against his mouth. I know. He kisses her again. I know. Outside, the water keeps trickling over stone. Inside, 2 people who should be enemies hold each other like the world is ending. Maybe it is. Amma's message comes at 2 a.m. Zara is alone in her hotel room. Jaewon left hours ago, both of them knowing they've crossed a line they can't uncross. Her lips still taste like him. Her hands still shake. The message, I found someone. Busan, come now. You need to see this in person. 2 hours later, Zara stands in an abandoned server room in Busan's industrial district. The building reeks of mildew and old electronics. Water drips somewhere in the darkness. Amma is already there, laptop glowing, standing beside a young man who can't be more than 22. This is Jiwoo, Amma says quietly. He worked for Black Tiger Road as a hacker. The kid looks terrified, skinny, pale, with the kind of shadows under his eyes that come from too many sleepless nights. But when he sees Zara, something shifts in his expression. Guilt, maybe, or recognition. You're her, Jiwoo whispers. The CEO, the one whose life I helped destroy. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. His hands are shaking. Zara notices he's wearing a bracelet, cheap plastic beads, the kind a child might make. Something his little sister gave him, maybe. Or a niece, something that reminds him he was human before he became a weapon. What do you have? Zara's voice is ice. Jiwoo turns his laptop toward her. His fingers hover over the keyboard, hesitating. I pulled this from a hidden server before I ran. It's the proof you need. But Miss Mensah, you should know. He stops, swallows hard. After you watch this, you can't unknow it. And what you do with that knowledge, it will define who you become. Show me. He hits play, but his eyes close, like he can't bear to watch again what he's already seen too many times in his nightmares. The footage is grainy, pulled from a hidden camera in Black Tiger Road headquarters. Timestamp 8 months ago. A conference room with dark wood paneling and a single overhead light. A man sits at the table, signing documents. His face is partially turned away, but Zara knows the shape of his shoulders, the way he holds a pen, the platinum watch on his left wrist that catches the light. Jaewon. The documents he's signing have the Zaratech logo at the top. A voice off camera, older, female, cold as winter. The African company, you're certain about the timeline? Jaewon's voice, flat and emotionless. 3 months, complete collapse, no traces back to us. And the CEO, Emmanuel Mensah's daughter? A pause. Zara holds her breath. Then, collateral damage. 2 words. That's all it takes to shatter a heart completely. The video continues. Jaewon slides the signed documents across the table. Jiwoo will handle the technical execution. He's the best we have. The young man beside Zara flinches at hearing his own name. When it's done, the female voice continues, the financial networks will blame poor security. No one traces it back to Seoul. No one asks questions. Understood. Jaewon stands, straightening his jacket. As he turns toward the camera, his face comes into full view for just a moment. No emotion, no hesitation, nothing but cold efficiency. The black tiger tattoo is visible on his wrist. The video ends. Silence fills the abandoned server room. Just the drip, drip, drip of water somewhere in the darkness. Zara can't breathe, can't think. The floor seems to tilt beneath her feet. He signed the order. He knew my father's name. He called me collateral damage. There's more, Jiwoo says quietly, his voice shaking. After the attack went through, after your company collapsed, I saw him in the hallway. He was looking at something on his phone, a photo, and then he just broke. Smashed his phone against the wall, started shouting. That's when I realized. Realized what? Zara's voice is barely a whisper. That he didn't know it was you, not until it was already done. Jiwoo's eyes fill with tears. He destroyed the woman he loved and didn't know until he'd already pulled the trigger. I've never seen anyone look so destroyed. That's why I ran. Why I'm helping you now. Because what we did to you was unforgivable. Amma puts a hand on Zara's shoulder. Zara, don't. Zara pulls away, stares at the frozen image on the screen. Jaewon signing her death warrant. Intention doesn't erase action. Whether he knew it was me or not, he still destroyed everything. The boy in the library was a lie. The man in the tea house tonight was a lie. Every word, every kiss, every promise. Built on a foundation of ashes. Her phone buzzes. Jaewon. Can I see you tomorrow? I need to talk to you about something important. Zara's hands tremble as she reads it. Part of her wants to throw the phone against the wall like he smashed his. Part of her wants to call him, to scream, to demand answers he's already given. Instead, she looks at Jiwoo. Can you get me into Black Tiger Road's system? Real-time access. The hacker's eyes widen. That's suicide. They have security protocols, firewalls, and if Komin Seok catches any intrusion. Can you or can't you? Jiwoo glances at Amma, then back to Zara, nods slowly. I can give you backdoor access, but Miss Mensah, if you use it, they'll know someone's inside within hours. And when they figure out it's you. Good. Zara's voice is steel. I want them to know I'm coming. She doesn't sleep that night, or the next. She sits in her hotel room with Jiwoo's access codes, digging through Black Tiger Road's encrypted files, names, accounts, crimes stretching back decades. And at the center of it all, one name that appears over and over. Ryu Heejin, Jaewon's mother, the real power behind the throne. By dawn, Zara understands. Jaewon may have signed the documents, but his mother orchestrated everything. The revenge, the timing, the target. Her father's voice echoes in memory. Zara, my girl, when you face injustice, you have 2 choices. Become the monster that hurt you, or become the light that shows others a different way. Zara closes her laptop, opens a new browser, searches for Black Tiger Road headquarters, security layouts, blueprints, weaknesses. And this time, she's not just planning revenge. She's planning to dismantle an empire. The hotel suite overlooks the river. It's the same suite where Jaewon kissed her 3 nights ago, where she let herself believe, for a few dangerous hours, that maybe the past could be rewritten, that maybe love could survive the unforgivable. She was wrong. Jaewon arrives at noon with takeout. He smiles when she opens the door. That soft, rare smile she thought was only for her. Zara lets him in, locks the door behind him. "I brought food," he says, setting the bag on the table. "Your favorite. I remembered you love spicy noodles, so I got." "You destroyed my company." The words slice through his rambling like a blade. Jaewon freezes, the smile dying on his face. Zara pulls out her laptop, turns it toward him, plays the video. His face drains of color as he watches himself sign the documents. Hears his own voice, cold, efficient, emotionless, condemn her to ruin. Hears himself call her collateral damage. When it ends, silence fills the room like poison gas. "Zara," he starts, voice hoarse. "Don't." Her voice could cut steel. "Don't lie to me again." "I didn't know it was your company." The words tumble out desperate, raw. The target was listed under holding corporations, shell companies, legal names I didn't recognize. "I didn't see your name, your father's name, until after the attack was executed." "Until when?" Her voice rises. "When did you know?" He closes his eyes. 2 days after the collapse, I saw the news, saw your face on every financial site, Zaratech CEO Zara Mensah, and I realized what I'd done. And you didn't tell me. She's shaking now, fury and heartbreak warring in her chest. You sat across from me in that tea house. You kissed me, you held me, and you knew. By then, it was too late to stop anything. The damage was done. I thought. He runs his hands through his hair, pacing. I thought if I could get you to leave Seoul before you dug deeper, before you found out it was me, maybe you could survive. Survive? Zara laughs, and it sounds like breaking glass. 200 employees lost their jobs because of you. Families destroyed. My investors lost millions. My father's legacy, everything he taught me, everything he built, everything I expanded in his name, gone. She slaps him. The sound cracks through the room. His head snaps to the side. A red mark blooms on his cheek. He doesn't raise a hand to touch it, just looks at her with eyes that hold so much pain, it almost makes her falter. Almost. I came to Seoul to find the person who did this, Zara says, her voice shaking but steady. I came to end them, and it turns out the monster I've been hunting is you. She reaches into her bag, pulls out the gun, small black, purchased from one of Amma's less legal contacts 2 days ago. The weight of it surprises her every time. This small piece of metal could end a life, could end his life, could end the only man she's ever truly loved. Jaewon doesn't move, doesn't flinch, just watches her with those dark, drowning eyes. Then end it, he says quietly. I won't fight you. The gun is heavy in her hand, so much heavier than she expected. She points it at his chest, at his heart. She can see his pulse jumping in his throat, fast, terrified. But he doesn't run, doesn't beg, just stands there, offering himself up like a sacrifice to her rage. And God help her, part of her wants to take it, wants to pull the trigger and watch him fall and know that at least one person paid for what was done to her. But another part, the part that still remembers London, that still dreams about him on nights when she's too tired to guard her heart. That part is screaming for her to stop. 6 years ago, she says, and her voice cracks on every word. You were the first person I imagined spending my life with, building something real with, having children with, growing old with. Zara. And you threw me away like I meant nothing, disappeared without a word, made me feel crazy for loving you. Tears stream down her face now, hot and bitter. And then you took the one thing I had left and you burned it to ash. Jaewon takes a step forward. The barrel of the gun presses against his chest now. She can feel his heartbeat through the metal, fast, hard, terrified. So do it, he breathes. Shoot me. It's what I deserve. Her finger moves to the trigger. She can feel the cold metal, the weight of consequence. 1 pound of pressure. That's all it would take, but her hand is shaking. Her vision is blurring. And somewhere beneath the rage and betrayal, there's still that girl in London who loved him so much, she thought she'd die without him. A knock at the door, hard, authoritative. They both freeze. Ryu Jaewon, a man's voice, Korean, commanding. Seoul Financial Crimes Unit. Open the door. Inspector Hwang Dae-ho. Zara recognizes the name from her research, the cop who's been hunting Black Tiger Road for years. Jaewon's eyes widen. He reaches for her. Zara, you need to go, now. If they find you with me, with that gun. Miss Mensa. Another voice, switching to English. We know you're in there. We have questions about your involvement with Black Tiger Road. Involvement. They think she's working with him. The knock comes again, harder. Open this door or we're coming in. Zara looks at Jaewon, at the gun in her hand, at the door that's about to break open, and she realizes she's lost everything. Her company, her revenge, her heart, and if she stays, she'll lose her freedom too. She drops the gun on the table, grabs her bag, runs for the balcony. Zara, wait! Jaewon lunges for her, but she's already climbing over the railing, dropping onto the balcony below. It's only 1 floor. She lands hard, pain shooting through her ankle, but she doesn't stop. Behind her, she hears the door crash open, shouts, Jaewon's voice. She's not involved. She didn't know anything, but Zara is already running through the hotel, down emergency stairs, out a side exit into Seoul's crowded streets. She runs until her lungs burn, until her ankle screams, until she can't hear sirens anymore. Finally, she collapses in an alley behind a restaurant, surrounded by the smell of garbage and cooking oil, and lets herself shatter completely. She came to Seoul for justice. Instead, she lost everything. Her company, her revenge, her heart, and now, possibly, her freedom. She pulls out her phone with shaking hands, dials Amma. Zara, where are you? I heard police raided. He did it. Her voice is hollow. Jaewon destroyed my company. I had a gun to his chest, and I couldn't shoot him. And now the police think I'm working with him, and I don't know what to do. Silence on the other end. Then, where are you? I don't know. An alley, somewhere in Gangnam. Stay there. I'm coming to get you. And Zara? Amma's voice turns hard. After we get you safe, we're ending this. All of it. Black Tiger Road, his mother, the whole corrupt system. They wanted war. They'll get it. The call ends. Zara sits in the alley, shaking, broken, and realizes the worst part. She still loves him, even now, even after everything. She still loves the man who destroyed her. And that truth hurts more than any bullet could. Amma goes missing on a Tuesday. The message comes from an unknown number, delivered not as text, but as a video file. Zara opens it with shaking hands. The footage shows Amma bound to a chair in what looks like a warehouse. Concrete floors, rusted metal walls. The distant sound of water. Her face is bruised. Blood trickles from her temple, but she's alive, conscious. A voice speaks off camera, male, cold. Miss Mensah, you've been asking uncomfortable questions, accessing systems you shouldn't touch. The Shadow Council of Financial Tycoons. We call ourselves the 30, and we've decided you're more trouble than you're worth. The 30, the ones who profit when rival organizations destroy each other. The ones who pushed Zara and Jaewon toward mutual destruction. The voice continues, come to Incheonport, Warehouse 7, midnight tonight, come alone, or your friend dies slowly while you watch online. The video ends on Amma's face, terrified but trying to stay brave. Zara doesn't hesitate, calls Jiwoo. I need weapons, everything you've got. Miss Mensah, that's suicide, even if you survive. The 30's people. Black Tiger Road has that port locked down. Ko Min-seok runs security there. He's the enforcer, and he doesn't hesitate to kill. I don't care. My best friend is dying because of me. Her voice breaks. Because I dragged her into this. A pause. Then Jiwoo's voice, quiet. There's someone else who cares about keeping you safe. He's been calling me for 2 days, asking where you are. I don't want to hear about. He broke out of police custody, Miss Mensah. Injured 3 officers doing it. Inspector Hwang has a manhunt out for him. Jiwoo's voice softens. He's going to that warehouse tonight, whether you call him or not. Zara closes her eyes, sees Jaewon's face when she dropped the gun. Tell him to stay away, she whispers. This isn't his fight anymore. With respect, Miss Mensah, I don't think he'll listen. Midnight. Incheonport. The warehouse looms against the night sky like a sleeping monster. Shipping containers stacked into a metal maze. Floodlights casting harsh shadows. The smell of salt water and rust and old fish. Zara walks through the main entrance, hands visible, no weapons showing. They're hidden in her jacket, her boots, strapped to her thigh under her jeans. Jiwoo taught her well. The warehouse opens into a vast space. Amma is still tied to the chair in the center, but she's not alone now. Armed men surround her, 8, maybe 10. Professional soldiers in tactical gear. Too many, too well trained, and standing in front of them, elegant and cold in a gray suit, Madame Ryu Heejin, Jaewon's mother, the woman who ordered her father's revenge. The African girl, Madame Ryu says, her English flawless and sharp as ice. You're either incredibly brave or incredibly foolish. I haven't decided which. Let her go. Zara's voice doesn't shake. Your fight is with me. My fight was with your father. Madame Ryu circles her slowly, a shark scenting blood. Emmanuel Mensah, righteous, principled. He testified against my husband 15 years ago. Sent him to prison on some moral crusade about illegal investments and money laundering. Zara's heart pounds. Your husband broke the law. My husband built an empire. The elegant mask cracks for a moment, rage bleeding through. And your father destroyed it with his testimony. My husband died in that prison, heart attack, alone, because of Emmanuel Mensah's righteousness. Madame Ryu stops pacing. Her face transforms. Grief and fury and something else. Something that looks almost like madness. Do you know what it's like? she whispers, her voice suddenly raw. To watch the man you love waste away behind bars? To receive letters where his handwriting gets shakier each month? To know he's dying and you can't reach him, can't hold him, can't even say goodbye properly? For a moment, Zara sees her not as a monster, but as a woman destroyed by loss. A woman who chose vengeance over healing, who let grief turn her into exactly what she claimed to fight against. That could be me, Zara thinks. That could be who I become if I'm not careful. Then Madame Ryu's face hardens again, the vulnerability disappearing behind cold calculation. So you waited, Zara says slowly, pieces clicking together. Waited until my father died. And then you went after his legacy instead. His daughter's company seemed appropriate. Madame Ryu's smile is razor sharp. Zaratech, built on his principles, his clean money philosophy. I enjoyed watching it burn. You used your son to do it. My son is brilliant but weak. He follows orders, signs documents, plays at being a leader. She stops in front of Zara. But he's soft, falls in love with unsuitable women, forgets his purpose. He loved me, Zara whispers. Yes, and 6 years ago I discovered this. So I sent him to London on an assignment and told him, cut all ties with you or I'd have you killed. Madame Ryu's eyes are empty of warmth. He obeyed, like a good son, left you without explanation. And when he destroyed my company, I told him after, when it was too late to undo. She laughs, cold and musical. You should have seen his face when he realized. Absolute devastation. He actually smashed his phone, started shouting about stopping the attack, as if a man like him could defy me. Rage burns in Zara's chest. Where is he? Locked away, learning that love is a luxury he can't afford. Madame Ryu signals to one of her men. But you won't live to see him again. Neither will your friend. The 30 paid well for this service. 2 problems eliminated. Black Tiger Road's reputation secured. The men raise their weapons. This is it. This is how it ends. Then the lights explode. Gunfire erupts from the shadows. Not from Madame Ryu's soldiers, but at them. Muzzle flashes in the darkness, bodies dropping, shouts echoing off metal walls. Through the chaos, 3 figures emerge. Ryu Jaiwan, flanked by Jiwoo and one other loyalist, shooting with surgical precision at his own mother's guards. Get down, Jaiwan shouts. Zara dives for Amma, cutting her restraints with the knife hidden in her boot. Amma gasps, blood-deprived hands coming to life, and Zara pulls her behind a shipping container. You came, Amma whispers. You actually came. Always, Zara says fiercely. Now stay down. She pulls the gun from her jacket, not the one she dropped in the hotel, but a new one, courtesy of Jiwoo's arsenal, and moves into the battle. Jaiwan fights through Madame Ryu's men like a man possessed. He's bleeding from somewhere, shoulder, maybe, or ribs, but he doesn't slow, doesn't stop, just keeps moving toward Zara. They meet in the center of the warehouse, pressed back to back as bullets spark off containers around them. You should have stayed away, Zara shouts over the gunfire. Not a chance. Jaewon reloads without looking. I made a promise 6 years ago to keep you safe. I broke it then, not breaking it now. Your mother is wrong. His voice is raw. About everything. About love being weakness. About you being unsuitable. About me being unable to defy her. He turns, their faces inches apart amid the chaos. I choose you, Zara. I'm done choosing her. Before she can respond, Ko Min-seok appears from behind a container. Jaewon's second in command, the enforcer, gun raised and aimed at Zara's head. "I can't let you destroy the organization, boss," Min Seok says coldly. "Not for her." Jae-won doesn't hesitate. Shoots Min Seok in the leg. His most loyal soldier goes down hard. "The organization is already destroyed," Jae-won says quietly. "My mother made sure of that when she chose revenge over honor." They fight their way toward the exit. Jae-won, Zara, Ji-woo, carrying the wounded loyalist, Ama limping but determined. Madame Ryu's remaining soldiers chase them through the container maze. And then they reach the loading dock, and Madame Ryu is standing there, gun raised, aimed at Zara. "I should have killed you 6 years ago," she hisses. The shot rings out, but Jae-won moves faster, throws himself in front of Zara, takes the bullet meant for her heart. He goes down hard. His white shirt blooms red in the sodium lights. "No!" Zara drops beside him, hands pressing against the wound. Hot blood pulses through her fingers. "No, no, no." Jae-won's hand finds hers, weak, shaking. "Had to protect you one more time." Madame Ryu is aiming again, at Zara, at Jae-won, ready to finish them both. And Zara realizes she has one move left. She grabs Jae-won's dropped gun. Doesn't think, just fires. The first shot catches Madame Ryu in the shoulder. She staggers, fires back wildly. Zara fires again, and again, until the chamber clicks empty. Until Madame Ryu collapses to the concrete floor. Police sirens flood the warehouse. Inspector Huang's voice on a loudspeaker. "Drop your weapons." Everyone on the ground. Officers swarm in. Tactical units, medical personnel. They secure Madame Ryu, arrest the surviving guards. And Zara kneels beside Jae-won, blood-soaked and shaking, watching him fade. "Stay with me," she begs. "Please, you don't get to leave me again." "Zara." His voice is barely audible. "I'm sorry for everything. I should have fought for you 6 years ago." "You can fight for me now." Tears stream down her face. "You can live. We can figure this out. Together, just don't." His hand goes limp in hers. Paramedics rush in, pushing her aside, loading him onto a stretcher, hooking up IVs, checking vitals. "He's coding," someone shouts. "We need to move now." They rush him toward the ambulance, Zara running behind, Ama holding her up, both of them covered in his blood. "Is he going to make it?" Zara asks the paramedic. The woman's face is grim. "We'll do everything we can." It's not an answer, but it's all she's going to get. The ambulance disappears into the night, sirens fading, and Zara stands in the wreckage of the warehouse. Madame Ryu being loaded into a police van, Ko Min-seok being treated under guard, Inspector Huang approaching with questions she doesn't have the strength to answer, wondering if the man she loves will survive, or if this time she's truly lost him forever. The hospital smells like disinfectant and dying hope. Zara hasn't left the waiting room in 18 hours. Ama brought her coffee 3 times. She hasn't touched any of it. Inspector Huang came, asked questions about Madame Ryu, about the warehouse, about Black Tiger Road's operations. Zara told him the truth, or the version of it that wouldn't get her arrested. The criminal network is fractured now, leaderless, bleeding loyalists to rival syndicates and police raids. Ko Min-seok is cooperating with prosecutors, giving up names and accounts in exchange for a reduced sentence. Ji-woo is in protective custody, his hacking skills now being used to dismantle the very systems he once helped build. And Madame Ryu is in a maximum security hospital wing, handcuffed to a bed, awaiting trial for money laundering, racketeering, attempted murder, and running a criminal enterprise that spanned 3 decades. But none of that matters to Zara. All that matters is the man in surgery. The man who took a bullet meant for her heart. The surgeon emerges at dawn, still in scrubs, pulling down his mask. His face is exhausted, but not grim. Miss Mensah, she stands, can't breathe, can't think. He's going to make it. The bullet collapsed his lung and nicked an artery, but we were able to repair the damage. The next 48 hours are critical, but he's fighting. He's strong. Zara's knees nearly give out. Amma catches her, holds her up while she sobs into her shoulder. Relief and grief and exhaustion pouring out all at once. He asked for you, the surgeon adds quietly. Before the anesthesia took him under, kept saying your name. Wouldn't stop until we promised you'd be there when he woke up. Can I see him? ICU room 7, but only for a few minutes. The ICU is quiet, except for the rhythmic beeping of machines. J1 lies in the bed, pale as the sheets, tubes, and wires everywhere. But his chest rises and falls, steady, alive, real. Zara takes his hand. It's warm. You're an idiot, she whispers. Taking a bullet for me, after everything, after what you did. You're such an idiot. His fingers twitch in hers, barely, but she feels it. She sits beside him, holding his hand, and whispers all the things she couldn't say when he was awake. All the rage and hurt and love that's been tearing her apart. I don't know how to forgive you yet, she admits. I don't know if I even can. You destroyed everything my father built. Everything I built. 200 people lost their jobs because of you. His monitors beep steadily. He doesn't wake, but she keeps talking anyway. But you also saved my life, and Amma's. You turned against your own mother, your own organization, for me. Her voice cracks. So I'm going to try to figure out if we can build something real from all these broken pieces. She leans forward, resting her forehead against his hand. The monitors beep, the machines hum. Outside, Seoul continues, traffic and voices and life moving forward, while time stands still in this room. When we were in London, she whispers, you used to tell me that people aren't defined by their worst moments. That redemption is always possible if someone chooses it. I didn't really understand what you meant then. I thought you were just being philosophical. She laughs softly, tears sliding down her face. But maybe you were preparing me. Maybe some part of you always knew that one day I'd have to decide whether I believed it too. His fingers twitch again, stronger this time. And for the first time in days, Zara allows herself to hope. Over the next 3 days, he claws his way back from the edge, wakes up groggy, in pain, but awake. Sees Zara sitting beside his bed, hair wild, eyes red-rimmed, still wearing clothes stained with his blood, and smiles. That rare, soft smile. You stayed, he rasps, voice rough from intubation. Of course I stayed. She squeezes his hand. Someone has to make sure you don't die and escape the long conversation we're going to have. He laughs, winces at the pain in his chest, laughs again anyway. I deserve that conversation. You deserve a lot more than that. But her voice is gentle. But we'll start there. Slowly, painfully, they talk. About London and why he left. About the orders he followed and the orders he should have refused. About his mother's twisted obsession with revenge. How she let bitterness and loss consume her until she became the very thing she claimed to fight against. About Zara's father, Emmanuel Mensah, and the philosophy he lived by. Power must serve purpose. Money should build communities, not exploit them. He would have hated me, Jae-won says on the 5th day, when he can sit up without groaning. Probably, Zara admits, but he also believed in second chances. He believed people could change if they chose to. She's quiet for a moment, then adds, "He once told me about a man who embezzled from his company. Everyone wanted him prosecuted, but my father gave him a choice: pay it back and do community service, or face charges. The man chose redemption, spent 2 years volunteering at youth centers, teaching kids about financial literacy. Last I heard, he's running a nonprofit, helping formerly incarcerated people find work." "And you think I'm like him?" Jae-won's voice is careful. "I think you could be." She meets his eyes. The difference between a villain and a hero isn't the mistakes they make, it's what they do after. Jae-won is quiet for a long time, then, "My father was like my mother, cold. Calculating, he raised me to see people as assets or threats, nothing in between." His voice drops. "Meeting you in London was the first time I realized there was another way to live. You saw people as humans, treated your classmates like friends instead of competitors, built relationships instead of collecting contacts." "Is that why you loved me?" she asks softly. "I loved you because you made me want to be better." He touches her hand gently. "And then I became worse instead. I'm sorry for that." "And you, do you believe that?" She considers this, thinks about the girl who boarded a plane to Seoul with murder in her heart, the woman who couldn't pull the trigger when it mattered, the person she's becoming now, sitting in a hospital room, holding the hand of the man who destroyed her. "I'm trying to," she says finally. "I think that's the best I can offer right now." "That's enough." Jae-won touches her cheek gently. "I can't undo what I did to Zaratek. I can't give you back those years, or your employees' jobs, or your father's legacy. But I can help you rebuild, fund it, every cent, anonymously if you want." "I don't want your blood money." "Then take my clean money." He holds her gaze. "I have legal investments, real estate, tech stocks, things my mother never touched, or take nothing, I'll understand. But either way, I'm done with that life." "What will you do?" "Testify." His voice is firm despite the weakness. "Against the organization, against everyone still loyal to my mother, against the whole corrupt system." He reaches for her hand. "Destroy it from the inside. Make sure no one else's company, no one else's life gets sacrificed for power." It's inspirational in a strange way. The idea that someone born into darkness, raised to rule through fear, could choose to burn it all down for something better. "And after?" Zara asks quietly. "After the trials and the testimony, what then?" "After." Jae-won looks at her with eyes that hold nothing but truth. "After, if you'll let me, I'd like to try again. Do it right this time, no lies, no running, no choosing duty over love, just us." "Jae-won, I love you." The words fall simple and true, no hesitation. "I loved you 6 years ago in London. I loved you when I left. I loved you every day in between, even when I thought I'd never see you again. And I'll love you for whatever time you'll give me, even if it's none." Zara's heart is breaking and healing all at once. She thinks about her father's words. "The world will test you, but never let them turn you into what you fight against." She thinks about revenge and justice, and the difference between the two. She thinks about the kind of future she wants to build. Not one founded on destruction, but on restoration. I can't promise it'll be easy, she says carefully. I'm still angry, still hurt, still not sure I can completely trust you. I know. But I think I'd like to try too, see if we can build something real out of all this wreckage. Jaewon's smile could light the whole hospital. That's all I'm asking for. She leans forward, kisses him gently. It tastes like salt and tears and second chances. But if you ever lie to me again, she whispers against his mouth, I won't miss next time. Fair enough. He kisses her back, careful of his injuries. I wouldn't expect anything less. 3 months later, Zara Tech 2 launches from a new headquarters in Accra, funded by clean money, built on transparent systems, serving communities that desperately need ethical fintech solutions. Zara runs it, but differently this time. She hires back every employee who wants to return, creates a worker cooperative structure where everyone shares in profits, establishes microloan programs for women-owned businesses across West Africa. Her father would be proud. Amma is CFO again, but also acts as the company's moral compass, the one who asks the hard questions, who makes sure they never compromise their values for profit. And Ryu Jaewon, former criminal boss, former destroyer of lives, sits in a Seoul courtroom for 6 weeks straight, testifying against Black Tiger Road. His testimony brings down 47 members of the organization, exposes money laundering operations across 8 countries, dismantles a mafia system that has destroyed countless lives over 3 decades. The romance of crime, the glamour, the power, the easy money, collapses into the reality of consequence. When the trials are over, when he's given everything he knows to Inspector Huang and the prosecutors, when there's nothing left of his old life but wreckage and testimony transcripts, Jaewon boards a plane to Accra. Zara meets him at the airport. He looks different without the expensive suits and the weight of criminal empire on his shoulders. Just jeans and a simple shirt, carrying a single bag. Lighter somehow, younger. Hi, he says, suddenly nervous. Hi, she smiles, takes his hand. Ready to try being normal people? I've never been normal a day in my life. Good, me neither. They walk through Kotoka International Airport together, fingers laced past curious stares and security checkpoints, out into Accra's bright afternoon sun. It's motivational in a way, watching 2 people who've been through hell choose to walk toward light instead. Later, much later, after dinners that start awkward and become comfortable, after long talks that turn into comfortable silences, after slow rebuilding of trust brick by brick, after Jaewon learns to cook West African dishes, badly but improving, and Zara learns to forgive, slowly but genuinely, after shared meals and shared dreams and shared quiet mornings watching the sun rise over the city, they stand in the office of Zara Tech 2.0, looking at new expansion plans spread across the conference table. Community programs, tech education for girls in rural areas, partnerships with universities. Your father would be proud, Jaewon says quietly, looking at a photo of Emmanuel Mensah on the wall, smiling in his graduation robes, the same principled expression Zara inherited. I think so too. She leans against him, feeling his solid presence. I think he'd say I finally learned what he tried to teach me. That power isn't about revenge or destruction. It's about choice, about building instead of breaking. And what did you choose? She looks up at him. A future where we create something good out of all the damage we caused. That sounds inspirational. That sounds motivational. He kisses her, soft, gentle, full of promise and possibility. Outside, the sun sets over Accra, painting the sky in gold and crimson. Inside, two people who were enemies, then lovers, then survivors, and now partners stand together, imagining futures neither could have dreamed 6 years ago. In the corner of the office, barely visible unless you're looking for it, a small photo frame on Zara's desk, her father smiling. Next to it, a new photo, Zara and J1 at a community center opening, surrounded by children from the neighborhood, everyone laughing. A family, not born but chosen, not perfect but real. 1 year later, they stand in a small garden ceremony. Just Ama, a few close colleagues, some of the community members whose lives were changed by Zara Tech 2.0, and Jiwoo, who flew in specifically for this. Zara wears white. Jaewon wears a traditional Korean suit, honoring his heritage while building a new future. They exchange vows that speak of second chances and earned trust, of love that survived destruction, of commitment built on truth instead of lies. I promise, Jaewon says, voice thick with emotion, to spend every day being worthy of this, of you, of the life we're building. I promise, Zara replies, to choose forgiveness over bitterness, growth over revenge, and you, always you, even when it's hard. When they kiss, the small gathering erupts in cheers. 2 years after that, they sit together in a hospital room, different circumstances this time, joyful instead of terrifying. Jaewon holds their newborn daughter, his hands trembling, tears streaming down his face, as he whispers to Zara, I promise her, I promise both of you, I'll spend every day being the father she deserves, the partner you deserve. I know, Zara whispers back, exhausted and radiant. You already are. Their daughter, named Ama Emmanuel, after the two people who taught them about loyalty and honor, sleeps peacefully, unaware that her existence represents everything her parents fought for. Not revenge, not destruction, but healing, building, love. But tonight, in that quiet office moment 3 years ago, with city lights beginning to twinkle through the windows and the sound of traffic humming below, they simply hold each other. Thank you, Jaewon says softly, for not pulling that trigger in the hotel room. Zara smiles against his chest. Thank you for taking a bullet at the warehouse. Are we even now? Not even close. She pulls back to look at him. But we have time to figure it out. Time. The thing they both thought they'd lost. The thing they chose to fight for instead. And as they turn off the lights and lock the office door, heading home together under Accra's star-filled sky, the last image that lingers is this: two shadows walking side by side, equal, choosing each other, building something that honors the past without being trapped by it, love, justice, and the courage to believe that broken people can heal if they're brave enough to try. Thank you for staying with Zara and Jaewon's journey tonight. If this story touched your heart, reminded you that even the most broken among us deserve second chances, I'd love for you to subscribe to this channel. Share this story with someone who needs to hear that love is stronger than revenge, that healing is possible even after devastation. What story should we tell tomorrow night? Let me know in the comments below. Until then, May your own story be filled with the courage to choose light over darkness, forgiveness over bitterness, and love over everything else. Sweet dreams and good night.